good evening. This is Doc Severson for the ReadySetCrypto OMNIA newsletter market update for Wednesday, the 22nd of January, looking at Bitcoin versus the US dollar. Same as we talked about yesterday, this is just consolidation. What we want to make sure is that before we enter this, we want to see this thing starting to break higher from this point and starting to take out these highs. It'll probably help to see some additional energy on the daily chart, although it didn't necessarily require that for this breakout. So we just want to see it's not going to do the same thing as this before we enter this, right? So that's Bitcoin. There's a couple of other ones that I want to keep an eye on today. Let's go through the top coins for today. There are some that are actually doing really good, like NEM is breaking out pretty hard on the daily chart. Getting a little perspective on the weekly chart shows that this is not such a big deal though. So let's not get too excited. We're not quite there for entry. Now there are a couple of coins that I like on the swing trade side. First of all, here's Chainlink on the weekly chart. Now we talked about Chainlink several weeks ago and said, don't chase after this, wait until it builds up energy again. And it's starting to do that. You can see that this entire move, which is around in this area, this is all just non-linear price action. There's no trend to it whatsoever. As a result, we have coiled up quite a bit of energy. If we go down to the daily chart on this one, I love this look. This is a great look. This is a very tight little pattern. This thing is ready to go. If we do see this thing breaking above, I'd say about 32,000 or so, if it clears the 32,000, that's going to be a trade entry. Now, it may not do that when it's convenient for you. That's the risk with this one. So you could take an entry now, and if it does break below this, your stop would be somewhere around this area down here. I would say underneath that pivot there. So if you can't wait for the breakout on this one, I would look for this to be your stop on this trade. The other one I like is Ocean. This is more of a chart pattern style setup because we have a descending channel pattern here. This is really like a big weekly bull flag. You can see this more of just this big pattern coming down here. The whole thing's pretty ugly, but if you look at the daily chart, that's not bad. It's pretty. So we have a potential for a higher low right there. There's no guarantee this is going to be set up that way, but what I like is we went from a lower low up to a higher high, which increases the probability that any low from here is going to be a higher low. And so that might be a nice entry, especially as we get above about 450. I would take that long at this point. Now, as far as the target for this thing, I would say somewhere up in this area. We don't know exactly how far this is going to go if it does break, but certainly taking profits before we run into all-time resistance. Well, this is not necessarily all-time resistance, but certainly intermediate resistance would be probably a wise thing to do if this is a trade. Guys, that's all I got for today. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.